Hey everybody, I am here with yet another knife video. This one is the Civivi Bullmastiff Mini. I've been wanting a Bullmastiff Mini for quite a while. And basically, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Bullmastiff, then I'm going to compare it to a similar knife. It kind of helps illustrate some of the differences in my opinion. So, this knife is the Mini, but it's actually a pretty decent size. I will show you some of the specs on it. The blade is 3 inches, and the cutting edge, I believe, is 2.75 inches. And as you can tell, it's also a pretty wide blade. So let's take a look here. And as you can see, from the tip of the point to the high point of the handle right here, it is 3 inches. And then you can also tell that cutting, yeah, about 2.75 inches for the blade, and then the handle is just a hair over 4 inches. It's like maybe 4 and an eighth inches, and then for total, we got about 7 and an eighth inch. So it's the Bullmastiff Mini, but it's actually a pretty good sized knife. Now I have larger than average hands, and I get 3 full fingers on it very well. And actually, the fourth isn't too bad either, depending on how I grip it. If I grip it more like with the front of my fingers, like the top, I can get all 4 fingers. If I get more of like the wider part of my fingers, I'm just kind of hanging off a little tiny bit, but it's definitely usable. It has G10 scales, and Civivi's a little weird. They have different types of G10 that they use on different things. The knife I'm going to compare to this one, which is the Mastodon, has G10 scales, and I really dislike them. I've looked for replacements and I can't find any, but I really like the G10 scales on this one. It's kind of funny because they're very similar knives, but a little different too. As far as the thickness, the blade stock is 0.12 inches, and the handle's pretty narrow, just under a half an inch there. You can see, just under a half. And it has skeletonized steel liners. I'm not sure if you can really see it that well in there, but they are skeletonized. And pocket clip is, typical Civivi. And it's not like recessed or anything, but this is a pretty inexpensive knife. I believe the original price on this was like $50, but it looks like they've been discontinued. So you could probably get these for like $40 to $43. One of the things I do like about this has the old blood groove in here. I like that. And on occasion, you can kind of flick it open with that. Notice how I said on occasion. So, pretty cool knife. Got the lanyard loop back there. Now, a couple things. When I got this, it felt a little, let's call it new. A little tough to flick open. And then it got better, like pretty quick. Like once it started working it open and closed. Then it started to feel kind of funny. It almost kind of felt like somebody poured sand in there, and it felt a little gritty. Now this particular one runs on bearings, so I don't know what was going on with those, but I did take it apart. I just put a little touch of oil on the bearings and some of the surfaces around the pivot, and I worked the oil in a bit, and it's much better. Not perfect. It still feels a little bit gritty, but substantially better once I put the oil in. I had felt like with the full-size Mastodon that the blade would be a little like the action would be just a little bit better on the close and stuff, because you're dealing with just a 0.12 inch blade stock, whereas on the Mastodon it's 0.16 inches. So you can see that. And this isn't the mini Mastodon. This is the full-size Mastodon. For those of you who don't know, Civivi makes the Mastodon and the Bullmastiff, both cleaver-style blades, and they make the full-size and the mini. The minis for each one have 3-inch blades. The full-size for each one is 3.8 inches, and the blade width on these is let's see, 1.625 for the full size and 1.5 for the minis. So as you can see, it's not really that the mini's mini, it's really that the mini's like kind of like a regular size knife, and then the full size one is just a little bit chunkier. And then, of course, the difference here with the Mastodon is you get your traditional cleaver hole there, where you get the blood groove on the Bull Mastiff. But pretty cool knives, though. I do like them. It's just that. Oh, and by the way, for the G10 on this one's pretty cool because, as you can see, it's. I'm not sure how well that's showing up, but it's like a very light texture. It's like little dots, and they're very repetitive, and there's a lot of them. This one here, uh, it's weird. It's a little more aggressive, which I would normally like, but it's like they're a little larger and spaced out more. Um, you're not going to confuse this green one with being micarta by any means, but it's almost feels micarta like to me, whereas this one feels like a step down from G10, kind of like a, I don't know, a fiber reinforced nylon kind of thing, like a plasticky. Yeah, I really don't like this too much. This is really cool. This, not so much. And they both have a liner lock, and they're both made of 9CR18 MOV, which is not the highest grade steel, but it's better than 5CR, and it's still working in a little bit. And like I said, the grittiness went after I took it apart. And I don't know what the blade centering looked like. Boy, you can't really see much from that angle. There you go. So the blade centering, I can't tell you if it was centered perfectly or not. It is now, but that's after I played with the pivot just a little bit. And it's not bad now. Like I said, it still has a little bit of break-in time. What I do like, I like the larger blade on the Mastodon, but I do like that this is a more responsive blade, and that's because it's 3 inches versus 3.8 inches, and it's 0.12 inches versus 0.16 inches. So I like that blade better because it's a bigger, chunkier blade. I like that sort of thing. But this one is a little more responsive. It's like 99 out of every 100 times I flick it, it opens. Whereas maybe it's like 95 times with this one because it's a heavier blade. So you gotta put a little bit more gusto into this one when you flip it, I guess is the best way to say it. The other thing is these came really sharp. On occasion you might buy a knife, unfortunately, and you might find yourself needing to sharpen it. Not these. I was able to slice copy paper, nice thin strips right off the bat, which is nice because I think when you buy a knife, it should be like that. And these aren't super expensive knives. Like I said, these are now going for about $40 to $43. These are like $45 to $50. So it's nice if you're. I don't even want to say go that extra mile for the customer because it's a knife. It should be sharp. And Civivi absolutely does that. So I'm pretty happy with it. I actually think I would like to pick up the full-size Bull Mastiff because I like the blade so much, to be honest with you. I really do like the blood groove, and I also like the G10 that they use versus the Mastodon. So I could definitely see myself picking one of those. It's not a bad knife. Excellent knife for the money. I'm not totally blown away by the action, though. Versus some other Civivis I've gotten. And I would also say for some other knives I've picked up in this $40 to $50 range, I've been a little bit more impressed, but I don't feel like I got ripped off by any means. I'm happy with it. If I could have held it and kind of, used it a little bit beforehand, I still would have bought it. So basically, I'm satisfied. And I think if you enjoy a cleaver blade, because I think that's kind of one of those things where it's a preference. I know some people hate them because of the way the blade shape is. Some people love them. Some people love them because they think they're really good and functional. Some people just think they look cool. I kind of think that they're just fine and functional. I mean, as far as puncturing and everything goes, you have enough of a sweep here so that you can do most puncturing tasks. Usually when I'm puncturing things, I'm puncturing like a box to open it up or something of that nature. So there's just enough there. I mean, it's not going to be something like a Godson or maybe a Lumi that's got a nice slender blade and you can just kind of poke it. But if you just have to poke in a little bit to cut it open, I think it's going to function just fine for you. And if you think that the blade's pretty cool, go for it. things I could change if I had my way. Um, maybe the handle's fine, but if it was a little bit longer, maybe, an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, that would have been cool. But then again, it has a 3-inch blade, so by getting this extra handle, you're doing well as it is. So I'm not going to complain about that. The only thing is, I would have loved jimping. I would have loved just a little bit of jimping here, especially if you're making like a push cut. I mean, you choke up over here, put some push cuts on, and if you'll see how it's even recessed in here, it kind of has this sweep on the back of the blade, and it would just lend itself so well to put some jimping right in from here, right through here, maybe just about an inch. Just to when you're cutting something, just to give you a little bit more purchase. I don't think it's needed, but I think it would be one of those nice to haves. I would have appreciated it. Would have made me like it a little bit more. As far as the choil goes, it's not bad. You can choke up on it, especially if you have skinnier fingers. I got a little extra meat on my index fingers, so it's not the best choil, but it's absolutely serviceable. So basically, um, for the money, I think it's a pretty good knife. Um, I don't think you're going to confuse it with, like, say, 150, your typical $100 to $150 knife or anything, but it's good for the price. And if you like cleavers, I would really say it's a must buy because without having handled some of the others, like some of the Gerber or Kershaw cleavers, um, this one for the price is actually a little more than some of those. I got to tell you, I favor these from what I've seen. Now, if I handle those, it's a little unfair, I know, but if I handle those, I might actually end up liking them better. But I got to tell you, this one appealed to me the most because I looked at those, and these were the ones I wanted to get. And even if I would add another cleaver to the collection, it's probably going to be another one of these. And if it's not one of these, it would probably end up being the Corvid because I like the Corvid too. The Corvid's pretty cool. I think I like these because I want a Medford, but they're so expensive. I can't really justify buying one. So I said, okay, what's the biggest, clunkiest, thickest blade I can get for cheap money? And it comes out to the Civivi Mastodon, the Civivi Bullmastiff, and the Concept Corvid. So I think probably I might be getting the full-size Bullmastiff at some point, and maybe one of those Corvids. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a subscription if you would subscribe if you're not subscribed, and a thumbs up. That would be really cool. Have a good one. I will talk to you later.